squat to start with, so don't get too deep. Keep the core nice and tight. Rotate the palms, opening up the chest without coming up with your traps. Rotate back. 2 more. Nice and controlled. Make sure your knees are tracking and down your toes. Last one. Now sitting your bottom back. Remember, we're going to make this more glute hamstring dominant. So pushing through the heel. On both sides, getting that stretch in the adductors. I'm just going to lift the toe. Remember, your shin should be vertical. Sit your bum back. So alternating between the two. Last one each side. And then coming down. Left foot by left hand, fully protract the shoulders. And come backwards into a downward dog. And right foot by right hand. If this is too strong, then you can always use blocks underneath your hands. One more time each side, really opening up the hips, squeezing that back glute, pushing the ground away. Remember to separate the fingers. Last one. Then we can go backwards into a downward dog, walking our heels. Then bring that head for a little bit of pressure on the back of your left heel, stretching your calf. Then onto your right. Then you're going to come down onto all fours, hands below shoulders, core nice and tight. Separate your fingers, index finger forward. We're going to come up and down, protracting, retracting those shoulders. Locking the elbows. 2 more. Then back and forth with the shoulders. Big circles forward, then reverse. Then bring that left hand in line with your right hand, bending at the right elbow, inching your fingers forward. Get that stretch in the shoulders. If it's too strong, release the tension. Back to centre, bring that right hand in line with the left hand, bending at the left elbow this time. Then back to centre, we're going to tuck the tailbone under, push the ground away. Big exhale, then bring the left arm through that, bending at the right elbow. So you feel in that stretch in the lats. Don't force the position. Remember, don't put any weight into your neck and head. If it's too strong, obviously don't go into it. The aim is to get your shoulder to the floor, but if you haven't got that range, then don't force it. Remember to keep the hips square, so don't let them come out of position. So you feel in this lovely stretch. All the way down your back into your lats. Then we're going to come back to centre. We're going to bring this right leg forward, knee, ankle, hip in line. From here, you're going to squeeze the back leg glute. Feel the stretch in the hip flexor, then come forward slowly and get the rotation in the thoracic, hand and arm, shoulder, wrist rotation. Then you're going to release that glute and then come further forward into the stretch. Then back to centre, onto the other side. So, tuck first, squeeze the glute, coming forward to a point where you're feeling that lovely stretch in the hip flexor. If you're not, come back again and tilt, okay? And then come forward. And then wrist rotation, hand and arm, shoulder. Then release the glute and come forward. Then you're going to go into a low squat stance as long as it feels comfortable. If you need to, you can roll up your mat and place it underneath your heels so you're a little bit more elevated to give you a little bit more room to underneath at the bottom. Okay, so we're going to let the knees collapse, then open. Let the knees collapse, then open. Just really opening up the hips, keeping that back nice and straight. This should not be niggling your lower back. Then keep the elbows pushed against the legs as long as it feels comfortable. Release if it's too much. Or you can come out of this, and we're going to do wrist rotation both ways. We're then going to pull back on a straight arm. So lock the elbow, pull back on the back of the hand. Feeling the stretch in the forearm, and then the opposite way. Then repeat on the opposite side. Then bring it back. We're then going to do a little bit of finger and thumb. Pull down on your thumb, then onto the other side. Intermingle fingers, fully protract your shoulders, elevate as high as you can. Then elbows into the crease of your knees, separate your fingers, just hold that position. Remember, it should be comfortable. And then once you feel confident and you're confident in that bottom position, you can come forward and go into a balance. Remember, if you're new to this, please don't go into it to start with. And then we're going to come all the way up first for your vertebra, all the way to the top and open up the chest. Then you're going to do ankle rotation on the left side. keeping your foot on the floor, and then elevate your foot and do it both ways. Then onto the other side, circles both ways, and then elevate your foot, hold on so you need to, and big circles. We're then going to go all the way up onto the tiptoes, back onto the heels. Toes, heels, then onto the side very carefully, and back in. Then knees thumb width apart, big circles left, keeping that distance, then right. Keep your feet flat on the floor, and then we're going to open up, then reverse. Then elbows in line with shoulders. So when we come into this, core nice and tight, we're going to rotate forward without letting the shoulders drop forwards. So just think the elbows are just moving. You should not be niggling the shoulders. If it's too strong, don't do it. Then opposite sides, keeping that wrist and elbow in line. We're then just going to interlink our fingers, roll our shoulders back, forward, back, and over. And come up slowly